Is GM a buy or a sell? Let's get started with the model. This is a large cap company, 57 billion market cap. They're trading at $52 a share, and they have 1.1 billion shares outstanding. GM makes and sells trucks, cars, and auto parts. Its brands include Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, and many more. It was founded in 1908, headquartered in Detroit, Michigan. Let's look at their financials. The way you value a company is you estimate the free cash flows into the future and then you discount those numbers back to today's value. That's what we're doing in this video. And free cash flow is cash flow from operations minus capital expenditures. They nearly hit $10 billion in 2023, up nearly 50% from 2022. It came down a little in the trailing 12 months to $8.3 billion, but at least it's positive. Pretty low margins between 4 and 6%, which is pretty common for auto manufacturers. Net income is the profit or loss on the income statement. It's revenue minus expenses. And that peaks in the trailing 12 months at $11 billion with a 6% margin. Revenue is the sales for the company, and that goes up each year from $127 billion to $183 billion. They pay a dividend close to 1%, and they can cover that dividend 16 times with their free cash flow. So there may be a decent chance they'll raise the dividend in the near future. We estimated 4 years of future free cash flows. We also estimated a terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4, that's $86 billion. We discounted those numbers back to today's and the weighted average cost of capital. We get a value of the company of $83 billion. We divide that by 1.1 billion shares. And we get a calculated stock price of $76. They're trading at $52, so they're trading at a 32% discount. It's a buy according to the model. Do you think it's a buy or sell? Let me know in the comments. There are 36 companies in the same industry as GM, and if they have a number in red, they're worse than the median. If they have a number in blue, they're better. They spend a lot on CapEx, $14 billion. Second to Toyota, they're $21 billion. Tesla is third, and then you have Stellantis. They are a bit leveraged. Their debt to equity ratio is 1.8. For every dollar of equity, $1.80 of debt. They're one of 4 companies that pay a dividend. They do pay more than Ferrari, but a lot lower than Ford and Honda. They generate a lot of free cash flow, second to Stellantis. They rank 4th in market cap at $57 billion. They're trading below book value. That means their equity on the balance sheet is higher than their market cap. Look at that PE ratio of 5. It looks like a great deal, right? Price to free cash flow 6.8. Second to Ford. And price to sales is also really attractive at 0.3. Investors are paying 30 cents for $1 revenue. And they generate a ton of revenue, almost identical to Ford. It's amazing how close they are, right? The difference between the two is like 0.01%, or maybe even less. They're not growing as much as the median average. Their 5-year annual revenue growth rate is only 5%. NIO is number 1 at 50%. Then the giant Tesla. The stock is trading fairly close to its 52-week high. So you could have got it for a much lower price this year. It was trading as low as 35 within the past 12 months. If you put $10,000 into this company 10 years ago and reinvested the dividends, when COVID hit in March 2020, you would have been down on your investment. But if you still held on, you'd be at $20,000 today. Not a bad return, a 7% annual return, a 98% total return. To summarize, I have them trading at a 32% discount, ranking 6 out of 10. I think it's a good short-term buy, so I give it 6 out of 10. In the long term, it could struggle. Auto stocks are very risky and volatile. But their ratios look really good, so I give it 9 out of 10. Amazing PE and price to free cash flow. Financials are decent, 6 out of 10. Their revenue is going up, and they generate a healthy amount of free cash flow. Let's look at their income statement. Here's the third quarter 23, third quarter 24. Revenue is up from $44 billion to $49 billion. Auto revenue went from $40 billion to $45 billion. GM Financial, that's their leasing arm, that went from $3.6 to $4 billion. Let's see if they give a further breakdown of the revenue. Here's a breakdown of the $49 billion of revenue. $41 billion is sales in North America, $3.5 billion international. Then they have $26 million in cruise, $4 billion financial. $4 billion of EBIT in North America, $42 million international. Negative EBIT in cruise, negative $380 million. Positive $700 million in financials. GM Financial is where they provide leases. Let's go back to the income statement. Total revenue, $49 billion. All the expenses to make the cars, $39 billion. Other expenses, $3.4 billion. SG&A, $2.7 billion. So operating expenses, $45 billion. They have $3.6 billion of operating income. Last year, $3 billion. They spent $200 million of interest on their debt. Last year, $229 million. Their net income is $3 billion, pretty much the same as last year. They really reduced their shares outstanding. Last year, 1.37 billion. Now it's 1.11 billion. So their EPS has gone up a lot from 221 to 271. That's pretty impressive. With the same net income, their EPS went up probably like 20 or so percent. And the dividends per share went up from 9 cents to 12 cents. So they increased their dividend 33%. Let's look at a balance sheet. Current assets, $115 billion. Current liabilities, $95 billion. So current ratio above 1. They have $32 billion of cash or marketable securities. They have $58 billion of receivables. This is how much money other companies owe them. $17 billion of inventory. Of the $17 billion, $9 billion is finished goods. $8 billion is material, supplies, and work in process. A lot of property, $52 billion. Only $5 billion of goodwill. I thought it'd be higher. $30 billion of equipment. They lease that equipment. And $21 billion of deferred income taxes. These are taxes a company will eventually pay, but are not due yet. $120 billion of liabilities. $30 billion in accounts payable. This is how much money they owe other companies when they buy on credit. They buy a lot of materials and supplies to make their cars. $15 billion of debt related to their auto division. $76 billion to their financial division. They took on the debt in the financial division to loan money out to people. Assets minus liabilities equals equity, $71 billion of equity. They raised $19 billion from selling their business, and they profited $62 billion from running their business. Retained earnings is the sum of all your prior net incomes minus the sum of the dividends you paid out. Usually stock buybacks reduce retained earnings. Let's look at a statement of cash flows. This is the trailing 9 months. The first section is the operating cash flow. And they do bring in a good amount of cash flow. It was $17 billion last year, now it's $16 billion. So they have a $9 billion profit, an accounting profit, and then you add back the non-cash items on the income statement, like depreciation and amortization. That's how you get the $16 billion. In their investing section, they bought $7.6 billion of property. That may be manufacturing facilities. They purchased $11 billion of leased vehicles. So they purchased the lease, and they act as the bank, so they act as a lessor, receiving the money from the person who leased the car. A cash inflow of $9 billion from the termination of leased vehicles. Their financials are a little funky because of their leasing arm. It's not as straightforward as a normal manufacturing company. In their financing section, they added $38 billion of debt. They paid down $32 billion of debt. They bought back $2.4 billion of common stock. And they paid out $526 million of dividends. Let's look at a stock on Simply Wall Street. Its last price, 57 billion market cap, up less than 1% in the past week, up 46% in the past year. Here's the stock price since 2010. It was $35, and it reached its low point in March 2020 at 18. The stock more than tripled over the next 18 months, but what goes up must come down, and it came all the way down to below 30 at the end of 2023, and then it pretty much doubled from that point. Just last month it hit $60. It's come down a little to the low 50s, but I think there's a lot more upside potential than downside. Wow, Simply Wall Street values stock at $7. They say the stock is 650% overvalued. 26 analysts priced this stock at $59. They think it's undervalued. In a 10-year time frame, their revenue went nowhere, from $155 billion to $156 billion. It finally moved up a bit the past couple years. Now it's $180 billion. But that's not good to see that their revenue didn't move in a decade. Here's their debt since 2013. It was $36 billion. It did get up to $127 billion. Then they paid some down. But now their debt is an all-time high, close to $130 billion. And their debt is a good amount higher than their equity of $74 billion. And they do have a decent amount of cash on their balance sheet, $27 billion. Plenty to service the debt. This blue line is their dividend yield, and it got up to 6% in March 2020. Then they cut their dividend to conserve cash during COVID. They did bring it back in 2022, and now their yield is around 1%, and the forecast for 2026 is 1.1%. The CEO salary is $2.1 million. Total compensation, $28 million. 10-year CEO, 11 years. Lots of insider selling, one buy, but mostly sells, including the CEO. She sold 300,000 shares at $44. About 1.3 million shares were sold by insiders in the past year. Only 25,000 were purchased. 87% of the company is owned by institutions and 12% by the general public. BlackRock is the biggest shareholder at 9.5%. Arrow Street 2.75%. Putnam 2%. BNY, UBS, and to round out the list, B of A. They had 219,000 employees in 2013. It got up to 225,000 in 2016. Now it's 163,000. And the ticker trades on the New York Stock Exchange, Mexican Bolsa, Zicha, Deutsche Börse, Swiss, London Stock Exchange, Wiener Börse, Euro TLX, Lima Bolsa, BATS Europe, Sao Paulo Bolsa, and the Buenos Aires Stock Exchange. So if you want to get a copy of my discounted cash flow model, watch the video in the top right corner.